Good evening, it's February 21st, 5:06 PM. This is the Board of Assessment Appeals meeting. Let's stand for the pledge of allegiance. Wait, hit. You're a pledge person.
Pledge allegiance to
The flag of the United States of America.
and to the republic
for which it
which
stands,
stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Guys want to take 10? Roll call, whatever.
Okay. Let's see. Paulette Kuzo,
Here.
Helene Daly,
Here.
Carol Langland,
Here.
Kathleen Griffin,
Here.
Peter Rupert.
Here.
That concludes the roll call.
Okay. Are there any outstanding minutes that we have to deal with?
Yes, and I saw one mistake in the title. I had the year as 22 rather than 23, but I didn't review them carefully, but I saw that.
Okay, was that the?
For the December minutes. Mhm.
Oh, okay. All right, so we have to change those, I guess, make that correction. And then I guess we can do them at the end. Oh, one of the other meeting.
Well, it's a non-material change. I think you can just say you approve it as corrected. I
Okay,
think you've done that before.
all in favor of approving this corrected, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, aye, aye. Unanimous. I thought we had a guest speaker. Attorney Weaver was supposed to be here to go over.
He's caught in traffic coming from Greenwich.
Okay, well, that's
Should be
good.
here in a minute.
All right, well, why don't we start with Ross? Were you gonna give an
So you said
update?
general update, so I'm not sure.
Is there anything, or is there anything we need to know? Anything we need to know?
Changes.
Any changes, anything that would affect us?
No, I sent out the spreadsheet on Friday,
Yep, saw
updated it this
that.
updated it this afternoon. So we had 11 commercials that were over 11 million, or over 1 million, so
Mhm.
those won't be heard. The notices went out today to them. They have 2 commercials that are under 1 million. 3 motor vehicles, 7 personal property, and 26 real estate appeals. So it's
Pretty
down about a third from last year.
Now, the motor vehicles we're not doing.
Yes, you are.
I'm doing them now.
Yeah,
Oh,
they,
so-
everybody can appeal.
Oh, because we usually do them in September.
September is just motor vehicles. March is everything. Typically, you
okay.
don't see motor vehicles because
Right.
they don't have a bill, but the supplemental people can come in.
Oh.
And
Oh, okay,
if they have a regular bill, they're certainly welcome to come in. So,
okay. So that's two, okay.
and we had one that was received today, so that's late, and we had 3 that have already withdrawn.
In addition to these ones? Or
Yes.
3 of these?
Yeah, what I gave you was what's going to be heard. So the 3
Withdraw.
withdrawals are not counted.
Did they mention why they withdraw? I mean, it goes through the.
There are
public
things that we
good stand.
solved.
Oh, okay, well, that's good.
There's things that, I mean, one came in I think December, and we were able to fix it before the grand list was signed in.
Okay.
think-
Good, all right.
So technically, we're listening to what now?
38.
38,
Total.
not counting the over million.
Right, we took those out of the equation.
38,
Right.
okay.
So 38 to be heard, and 11,
Okay, so.
they got to go straight to court.
It's about 7 each. Oh, no, we're not doing these. Okay. All right.
Good. Anything else? Any questions for us?
No.
No, are we all set on rooms and all that? I mean, are we all set?
No,
to
but
go?
that's the last thing we're gonna do. We'll go over that last because our speaker is now here. And we wanted to keep as close to 5 as we could for him, so we'll do ours after.
Owen's got to get back to
So he's
him.
gotta go back, yes.
I appreciate it. How's everyone doing? My name is Owen Weaver. I'm an attorney with Marino, Dable, and Schellenberg. We represent you guys in a variety of capacities, including tax appeals. Thank you for inviting me this evening. I won't take up too much of your time. Want me to stand? Want me to-
Have a seat, sit right down. We're quite informal here.
Hopefully I printed enough here. I just did a quick PowerPoint.
Okay,
Right down. I won't take up too much of your guys' time.
thank you.
Excellent.
Yeah. Perfect number. Here we go. So I was asked to give an update on the tax appeals pending in Superior Court, which I will do, but give a couple other things for you. Just introduce myself first and foremost, give you an overview of the tax appeal process at Superior Court, discussion of how we go about settling cases at Superior Court, and then I thought I'd just give a couple of comments about residential appeals, that's what you guys are primarily dealing with. So, as I said, I'm an attorney with Marino, Zabel, and Schellenberg. We're special counsel for the town. We do tax appeals and land use and some other things. Originally from Connecticut, and then after law school, I got a clerkship of the tax court in New Jersey, and I spent 10 years in New Jersey. So I've represented a handful of municipalities in Jersey, and I'm doing the same thing up here. So for good or bad, I got stuck doing that. So we had 104 appeals filed after the revow. We had 11 appeals filed last year. Well, I guess Ross was just going over how many have been filed this year. I'm not privy to that number, but eventually some of those will percolate up to the Superior Court.
This is Fairfield.
Fairfield, yeah.
And these are residential, not
No, these are total numbers, including, residential and commercial. So we currently have 20 appeals, 3 residentials still pending, all on Fairfield Beach Road, 16 commercials, and we have 1 commercial property that's up before the appellate court that we were able to get dismissed, and they appealed that reasoning. Not to digress too much, but that case involves the filing deadline. Last year, somebody tried to file on, was it the 22nd or the 20th?
I think it was the day after, which would have been, I think last year was the 21st. No, I think it was 22nd.
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 You guys had advertised the 18th or whatever that Friday was. They missed the date. We got the Superior Court to agree with us that was untimely, and hopefully the appellate court agrees as well. So, we have 20 cases pending right now, subject to whatever comes up this year, which I think is a pretty good number. I'll get into more of that in a second. If you'd like to flip the page, and I digress. If anybody has any questions at any point, feel free to interrupt me. I'm happy.
I just have one. The appeals that are pending, are those all from like a year ago or 2 years ago? Or do they go back? I mean,
Yeah,
how
great
old
question.
are they?
We have no 2015 appeals pending.
Oh, good.
We recently resolved the last of those. So they're all 2020 reval and whatever year that the plaintiff decided to take the appeal. So, I apologize if what I'm about to say everybody already knows, but I just thought I'd give you an overview of the tax appeal process at Superior Court.
Mhm.
So you guys issue a decision, they get 2 months to file. They'll appeal to the local judicial district here, and then we try to transfer every case to New Britain. And New Britain is where the tax session and the land use session sits. Those judges are specifically assigned to hear these type of cases. Hopefully they have experience. Unfortunately, the current or the presiding judge who was handling the appeals for the last 2 years got transferred to Waterbury. So we have a brand new judge. I don't know him. I hope he has some experience with tax appeals. I don't know, but we had a good one, and for whatever reason, he got reassigned to another district. Once we get transferred, we go through the discovery process. We ask the taxpayer or the owner information about the property. I serve questions and ask them. Hopefully, they answer them about physical characteristics of the property, financial information about the property, things like that. Eventually, the court will schedule a pretrial where the judge will try. The judge who is not trying the case will try and see if the parties can resolve it, or find out where we are in the process of discovery. If the case can get settled there, great. It will. If not, the court will enter a scheduling order. And that'll do 2 things. It'll say when we have to disclose an appraiser and when discovery will need to add. After that, if we still can't resolve the matter, then we'll do depositions of the appraisers and then ultimately go to trial.
You want to mention that they've changed the rules recently, that they're now requiring appraisals up front from the plaintiffs?
Sure, yeah, the legislature adopted a statute last year, which is coming into effect for this appeals filed this year, plaintiffs have to file, or they have to serve an appraisal report. I believe it's within the first 120 days or 90. I'd have to check the language, but, and they could get an extension of 60 days. But that was not in place beforehand. So what does that mean? The plaintiff now has to come to court with an appraisal report almost ready to be served in a very quick, finite time. But from the municipality's point of view, that's great, because even at your guys' level, you get appeals filed and people show up and they don't offer anything. They don't offer any proofs. I joke that some of these appeals, more of the commercials than the residential, but they're annuities for plaintiffs' attorneys. They just keep coming every 5 years. They get filed, they see what they can get, and then they collect on the judgment. But now they have to have the actual proof. So that's going to expedite things tremendously.
At what point did they used to have an appraisal? Is it not until you went to court,
No, well, I mean,
or they never had to?
they never had to. You're very hard pressed to win a tax appeal without an appraisal report. But there was no rule that said the plaintiff had to produce one. The closest you would get to a requirement is when these scheduling orders get issued. And if you don't have an appraisal report by the time the scheduling order told you to have one, well, then you're going to be in trouble for trial.
Because you can't bring it in afterwards.
Got it.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's kind of your deadline to get one.
So it's just so some appellants come in with an appraisal during our hearings.
Yep.
Are those the ones that they go forward with in the trial?
9 times out of 10, yeah. You guys have seen an appraisal report. That's what I'm seeing. They're not required to stay with that appraiser, that report. And we have some cases where they had a reporting before you and then they got a new appraiser.
Mhm.
But 9 times out of 10, yeah, that'll be their proof. So, and that's typical in a residential appeal. You have a fair number of plaintiffs' attorneys who know what they're doing. They tell their clients that you have to go before the board. Let's get an appraiser on board. Let's get a report. Let's take this serious. Hope that we can get relief before you guys. And if they don't, then they come up. But if you looked at most of your commercial appeals that get filed, I bet you most don't. Almost all of them will not have an appraisal report. Some will give you their INE information, but yeah. Typically, if you guys get a report, that's what we see. So, in terms of, you guys want to flip to the next page?
I have a question.
Yeah.
At the trial, they bring the appraisal report. Do they ever have like witnesses? Like, does the appraiser come and go over the report? Or is it just the homeowner and the town?
Yeah, great question. So at court, you need the expert to present the appraisal report. You cannot, I couldn't show up and say my appraiser said that my house is worth $1 million, accepted through Owen Weaver's testimony. You need the expert to authenticate their report, to explain their values.
And typically the homeowner does not go to the free trials. It's usually the attorney, the appraisers.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'd like to see owners at the pre-trials because they're the decision maker ultimately, but they're not typically there. And most homeowners will not testify at the trial either. That really only comes into play if there's a factual issue as to a certain feature of the property.
At what point in the process does the town order an appraisal?
Yeah, so we have an appraiser on retainer for all appeals, Pete Bimini.
What was that?
Peter Bimini. We do not order an appraiser right off the bat. So, it's a nice segue into my next slide. If you guys want to turn to the slide that says settlements. There's a couple factors at the Superior Court level that you guys don't necessarily, or you don't get into, right? So there's the cost of litigation that I have to be concerned with. How much money is it going to cost the town to litigate this case? What's our potential exposure for a refund? When you guys enter a judgment, you can correct the books and there's no problems going forward. But some of the litigations take years and it can accumulate quite a credit. So there's a cost benefit analysis. So we do not order appraisal reports right off the bat. What we'll do is when an appeal comes in, I'll take a look at the complaint. I'll ask Ross for the field card. If it's a commercial property, I'll ask for the I&E information that's on file. And we'll go over that. And if we see an error on the field card, or if I look at the I&Es and say, hey, Ross, like, you know, that this vacancy factor doesn't look right. What did the reval company use? You know, maybe that justifies offering a settlement. We wait for the discovery to come in, and at that point, I get Pete involved. I ask Pete to look at the plaintiff's discovery. I try and get him to do an inspection of the property before pre-trials. And after he does an inspection and reviews the discovery, conversation, where do you think you might land on this property in terms of value? And if he tells me we're good, I can defend it, or we have some trouble. I personally think that town has an obligation to engage in settlement discussions with everybody. They may not go very far, but after that first round of informal settlement discussions with the plaintiff, if we're not going anywhere, then we typically order an appraisal report for the town.
And Pete will review whatever information they've submitted. So if there's an appraisal, he'll look over the appraisal, you know, tell us what he thinks of the comps and the adjustments and whatever they've done on that report.
So,
And excuse me, and does their appraiser look at your appraisal?
Once it's issued, yeah.
Yeah, that
should be their plan, okay.
yeah, we prefer to negotiate from a standpoint of I know what their number is, but I don't know what our number is. Sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. But you know, we always have the reval number in place, so they have to bid against that, not necessarily what Pete's number may be. In Connecticut, the town can't increase an assessment. So, you know, we may have $1 million property and Pete may come back and tell Ross and I, this thing's worth $2 million. I don't know what the reval company did. The only thing that is important from my perspective as to what you guys did is whether or not you affirmed the value or reduced it. Other towns that we represent who will ask for, you know, the complete BAA file, complete reval file. They wanted to depose the reval company, they wanted to depose Ross. Not in this town, but another town, we had somebody trying to depose members, tried to depose members of their BAA, and it's just, you guys are a quasi judicial body. You don't depose a judge as to why he made a decision. You know, and it's not appropriate to be seeking out why you guys thought a property was overvalued. It's a de novo appeal. Starts all over based on the number that you guys put on the books, whether it's affirming the assessment or reducing it. So, and that segues into my last slide. I just thought I'd give you guys a couple of comments about residential appeals. That's what you're primarily. Size, you know, like authorities, but you know, it's not, you know, one plus one equals two. You obviously need, you know, there are appraisers who go to school, they get credentialed, they get licensed and do this, but it's not an exact science, to say the least. But you should have, when someone comes before you, they should be able to articulate why they think the property is worth less than what the town has put on it. You know, mass appraisal is it's very good at, you know, at what it seeks to accomplish, which is, you know, appraising hundreds, if not thousands of line items at one simple time, but mistakes are made. But generally speaking, in my experience, revals are pretty close to the mark on most properties. They get some wrong, but most of the time they're within a very reasonable ballpark of what the property is worth. So, you know, you get an appraisal report. The first thing that I do when I get an appraisal report in front of me on a residential is I'll turn to which is the last page. You guys will typically get the bank appraisal. I do. The property is, I'll immediately look to the comp grid and I'll look to see what the net adjustments that have been made to the sales. And, you know, my rule of thumb, and there's some case law out there to support it, is if you're seeing net adjustments of 20% or more, you got to start questioning whether or not that property is actually compatible or comparable to the subject property. It doesn't mean that if you have net adjustments of over 20, it's not going to be comparable. But you should start, you know, you should really be asking questions as to, you know, why is that number so large? What's the justification for that number? And sometimes there's a good adjustment. There's a good reason. Get Fairfield Beach Road, I'll take for example, a lot of small lots, some bigger lots. If an appraiser is making a large adjustment for lot size, I think that's probably credible because, you know, you're on the water. The more land you can have on the water, the more valuable that property is. But if you're seeing this astronomical adjustment for, I don't know, style, well, how is he or she quantifying that adjustment? Equate in the market. It's really hard to narrow in what one or two factors cause a sale to be different from the neighbor. You may have, the ideal situation is you have, you know, a vacant parcel of land for 1 acre, another vacant parcel of land that's also an acre, but this one's on the water and this one sells for $1 million more. Very easy to explain that that's a location difference. This is, the location clearly drove the difference in the value, and an appraiser should be able to explain that. Once you start adding in different features to a building, it's tough, but a licensed appraiser should be able to give you an explanation, even if it's just based on my experience. And if you hear just based on my experience, that's a red flag for me. I think, you know, they should be looking at, I spoke to people, you know, I spoke to realtors in the market. I consulted Marshall Swift for various cost replacement, you know, cost for a certain feature, something like that. An appraiser should be able to explain the whys and wherefores of their reasoning for various adjustments. So another thing that I look for is, you know, is the appraiser following USPAP? USPAP is articulates the rules and regulations that the appraiser should be following. There's a lot of different reasons to appraise the property. And if someone's applying rules and regulations that don't apply to finding the fair market value of property, then it raises whether or not they've actually given you guys the correct value for ad valorem tax purposes. So, you know, for instance, Fannie Mae has some restrictions as to how far apart the sales prices can be for comps. You can't have one 80% more than the rest of them. Well, those type of that rule, that's just one example. It doesn't apply to Ross. He's got to figure out what the fair market value is, and he doesn't throw a sale out just because the other properties, their sale prices were outside of a certain percentage of the other property sale.
So I'll mention that there's a different type of appraisal. It's called a narrative. And that's more typical of what we see on commercial or the higher value residential. You know, these isn't a houses that you can comp out more easily, yeah, those are, it's fine, but when you get into, you know, like a Bronson Road that you saw a few, couple of years ago, that's the type of property you would expect a narrative report to be done on, and that's a much more in-depth look at the market and, the property.
Yeah, so I just, again, I look at the net adjustment and then below the second yellow circle, there should be an explanation as to what the adjustments were made. If you guys have to go, or if I have to go searching through the report if I have to do my math to figure out what the adjustments were, one, that's lazy, and two, it invites, you know, scrutiny from the taxing authorities point. So. I hope I didn't keep you guys too long before I got here. I'm sorry if I rushed through it.
Okay.
Any other questions? And, you know, as an attorney for the town, if you guys ever need anything, I'm happy to take a phone call or answer an email. Yeah, Ross, you want me to touch on anything else or?
I think that's good. I'll back up and say there are 6 appeals left from last year at Superior Court. And the rest were from 2020.
So I guess I have a question about, you know, what takes so like from 2020 or whatever, like the ones from 2015, they're finally done. How long did they take to settle?
Yeah, that's a great question. Is the length of time it takes to resolve a tax appeal is totally dependent upon the attorney, the plaintiff's attorney. If you have someone who's on top of it, answers their discovery, wants to engage the town in discussions or tell the town I'm trying it, the case can go very quickly. If somebody who's not paying attention to their file, you know, Ross and I, we speak almost daily and we try and identify cases that have been languishing. But, you know, sometimes I joke, I can't give away money. Like, if the attorney doesn't want to respond, then there's not much you can do. So eventually the court will chime in and schedule a conference and say what's going on here, but they're busy too. So that's one reason why cases can take.
Well, we in all fairness, we had to push them off back in 21 because we were so swamped.
Yeah, no, I
And
mean,
we had 105 to deal with.
Yeah.
We just couldn't. And we had scheduling left and right on them. So it was pretty hectic for a while, but normally, yeah, it's, you know, we're moving along, and as you can see, we settled everything. We have nothing. Well, we have what? 2 scheduled for a trial? Really looked like one.
Out of the 3 residentials pending, two have trial dates. The third one, the attorney has not been paying attention to the file. And then on the commercials, you know, not to get too deep, so I'm happy to talk about them. One is Aquarion, the water facility, which is a massive property that I don't know where that's going, but that's complicated. And then we have a bunch of office buildings that, again, some of the plaintiff's attorneys haven't really pushed. There's some office buildings that we don't feel deserve any sort of reduction, so we're just waiting for the court to schedule a pretrial. Yeah.
Well, Aquarian, we just did the appraisal. We just had our appraisal exchange a week ago.
Yes.
So it's a big property. It's a big value. So and it's complicated property. It's not a commercial. It's a utility. So there's, you know, we had to get an appraiser from out of state that specializes in utility properties. So
What's the average, like, I mean, there's no average cost to settle a, you know, a residential one that goes to court,
Sure. I mean, I think Ross is
cost or average reduction.
or both.
So we've been running we had one very large reduction. So if you take that out, we're running about 7.25%. So whatever that assessment was coming in, our average is about 7.25% reduction.
Yeah, and I would say if a plaintiff is willing to negotiate under 10%, you know, I will certainly have those conversations and see what his feelings are. That's not a hard, fast rule, but generally
So
speaking.
then it's just your fee or the attorney's fees to the cost of the town,
Yeah, it's my firm's fees and the appraiser's fees. He doesn't do the work for free.
even if he doesn't do the appraisal, he goes and takes a look. He charges based on, you know, you
Uh,
sort of consult with him first, get an idea, and then.
Yeah, his retainer is directly with the town. I don't know his terms. Sometimes they charge an hourly for pre-appraisal work, pre-drafting work or just a flat fee for the,
It depends on the property.
What'd you
You
say?
know, residentials aren't that expensive. Commercials, can run thousands of dollars.
Or the costs are not, shared. Like, well, I shouldn't say, like, I mean, the town doesn't have to pick up plaintiffs.
No.
Costs, no.
not, I mean. Generally speaking, no, I guess in an egregious case, the court could order it.
Sure.
I've never.
In ballpark numbers, it costs the town about $10,000 for every $100,000 reduction. That's kind of the lost revenue,
Fees,
Yeah, no,
talking about
he's-
lost revenue.
just lost revenue, just lost tax dollars.
Because you see in the budget every year what the legal budget is for tax appeals, right? It's obviously higher some years than others.
Yeah, I don't know how the budget works for his firm. I think the appeals are rolled into some of the other work you do.
Yeah, all I can say is, we give Jim Baldwin, the town attorney, our estimate. I'm not sure how he breaks up his department.
Yeah, there's a separate line item for tax.
Okay.
appeals.
And then I have Peter Vimini in my budget for doing the appraisal in my department budget under fees and professional services. So Owen's
That's not-
paid through finance or through Jim Baldwin, Peter's through my office.
Any other questions?
No, that was helpful, thank you.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming, appreciate it.
To go to court one day.
It's all virtual, so.
That saves us a lot of money,
I bet it does, travel and all that.
to have Owen and Peter
I was gonna say,
so.
good luck with the new judge.
Thank you.
Yeah, maybe that'll work
There was
out.
someone else before that for some longer period of time, right?
Levine was there for
Levine, that's right.
decades. Yeah, I mean, he was very well known. And then we've had a couple that we've been working with. 2 or 3.
All right, well, good luck with your.
Thanks, Owen.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Ross, I had a question. Maybe you could briefly explain to us. I looked at, I looked at the appeals already. I always go through them, see what's going on, what people are looking for. And I had a question about the apartment buildings that we have that have affordable units in them. Affordable housing units.
Mhm.
So their assessments, are they based on full market value or are they based on a lesser value because those units don't bring in the income? That
One and the same.
it's one and the same?
The market value would reflect what they can generate in rents.
No, but I mean, like, I don't mean, I mean, it look at full value, like if there weren't any.
No, because the market value is based on what they can generate in rental income and their projected expenses, and that rental number would reflect whatever the affordable units would rent at.
Okay, so you take that into consideration when you do those. Okay,
Yeah, on a property like that, I always ask for a pro forma income and expense up front, so I can hopefully know what they're projecting their rents to be, so we can do a better job at
Okay.
calculating their final value, but usually I don't get it. I think they might have actually sent it.
one of them sent it, yeah. This
One of them actually sent me the pro forma, but it has to be done before the grand list is signed. Otherwise, I'm taking a stab at it.
Any other questions for Ross? You can stay if you like, or you're good to go.
I'm good.
Okay, I figured you'd say that.
Well, I could use just a little bit of a process overview to make sure we're all on the same page for checking people in and minutes and all the other things that are gonna happen for the hearing portion of it. We're not concerned about the deliberations this morning.
So what,
Well, I'm not really sure I understand the question.
Are we gonna have 3 rooms? And we're
Oh,
gonna have
we'll do that right
phones?
now. Let's
Okay.
go over that.
yeah, I
right now.
haven't set anything up for rooms. I mean, the rooms are all, we lost one room. No, we can still use this room. We can use the break room if we have to. We don't have that room, the office at the end of the hall any longer. Matt from the registrar is now in there. So it'll be here, the office across here, and if we have to, we can take the conference room.
So we can't have more than 2 people hearing at a time.
Well, let's, wait,
Yeah,
let's, yeah, let's table that for a second, because when we talk about how the procedure, you'll see that there's gonna be a difference in how we do that. Okay, so for this year, we talked at the end, the last meeting about, well, why don't we just do them all together? Like, why separate everybody and do individual hearings? Why don't we do what the other towns do and hear everybody hears everybody? They come before the whole board, in other words. And so I think that with only 20 or 38 appeals, this is a good time to try that. We can't do it when we have 100. We can't do it when we have 75, I don't even think. But, and especially since we've never done it before, I wouldn't want to try with a large number. But I think that with a small number, it would work. Westport, Greenwich, they'll do them up to 50 appeals as one group. So I don't think, I think it's a good idea to try that. We spoke with Brenda Kupchak about it. Helene and I did. And she thought it was a good idea to try it. Jim Baldwin thought it was a good idea to try it. He was pushing for an even different way, but we got to cut that off. We just, he thought it would be good if Ross came and we would argue back and forth for everybody. And I just don't see how that would be helpful over every appeal. And so he agreed that maybe that wouldn't be a good thing. So for this year, we'd like to try, if we can, to do it as a group. Would do the hearings as a group, and then we would meet separately to deliberate. They're not in the room we deliberate, which is what the other towns do.
And what's required to be considered a group?
A majority, quorum. So in this case, 3
Minimum.
minimum.
So that's what we have to.
Well, actually, that's not true. You could hear them with less than 3. When we deliberate, we have to have a quorum. There's no doubt about that. It has to be a quorum.
Okay, no. I was
Because the
specifically
decision
talking
will
about
be
the
made.
hearing.
Oh,
I'm
the
just thinking
hearings?
logistics wise. So the hearings.
We'd
could
like to
be
have
2 or
everybody.
more.
It could be 2 or more, yeah. We like to have as many people as we can.
So we have to
That's-
talk about how we're gonna.
That's not
that
gonna
point.
happen because, we're never gonna get everybody because we also this year gave the appellates the opportunity to tell us when they'd like to come, like a time frame, so we don't have so many people changing times on us. So some people have asked for morning hearing between 9:30 and 12:30, like they, like in the past, and then afternoon 1 to 4, and then I think 5 to 8:30. I stopped it at 8:30. I don't think we need to go. There's so few. I don't think we need to go 9 and 10 o'clock at night. Everybody like to be home. So we're not going to get, we may get 2, 3. I don't think we're going to get 5 people in the morning. Are you guys available in the morning at all?
No.
And how about the afternoons? No, just the evening. Okay. The majority of them are in the evening. So we'll get, we'll have more people in the evening. But there were 9 for the morning and 10 or 11 for the afternoon. And then the rest for at night. So
What's
what
that?
So we really need one room. This one, hopefully, because it's big. One room every time we meet.
Yeah.
They use this room a lot, Russ?
You have to schedule, but it's not used a lot, but there are some mornings. I think that it's more frequently in the morning that it's used.
Okay.
The other, I'll just add to that if you don't mind.
Sure.
I would suggest maybe if you shoot to do just the real estate as a group, that gets you down to 26. And then personal property and there's 3 cars.
We did the cars as a group though, didn't we?
Yeah, we did the cards as a group last time.
That
There's
was
only a
easy.
couple of them, so
Yeah.
that's easy.
Just to, if it, makes it easier.
Especially the cards, when they come in and tell us what they, about the car, we don't have to. It's easier to say.
So I guess the more of the question is how are you?
So how do we have to do it?
Yeah.
It's just like before, we need people's timeframes when you're available, and then we'll slot people in. Like if you tell me, for example, Carol, if you said to me, I'm available on, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th in the morning. Okay, well then, you're here for the morning. I can be here in the morning. Helene could probably do the morning. So that's 3. In the evening, hopefully all of us can be there. And in the afternoon, we'll have to see how many afternoons we can do.
You're doing 20-minute time slots still?
Yeah, 20-minute time slot. I think there were 15 minutes. We can go to 20. I don't have a problem with
So
20
in the
minutes.
morning, you could get 12, you could do them all.
Yeah, you could actually do them all in one morning. If every,
You have 9 morning ones, am I right?
I think I said 9, yeah.
Right, well, that's 12 slots.
Yeah.
Schedule would be 9.
Yeah, so we can get that over quickly.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Yep, so we should be
There's
finished,
no raise.
and we should be finished relatively early this time. Now, as far as the deliberations go, I think that, I think it's probably better if we hear everybody and then deliberate rather than, in some towns, they'll do hearings for 2 hours and then they'll stop and they'll take a break and they'll deliberate for 2 more hours on those. I don't know that I want to do that all on the same night. How does everybody feel about that?
I'd prefer to wait, just especially if,
So
if
people
you
all
got-
have
especially if
Yeah,
you're
if you could-
hearing only in the daytime, I'd like to listen to those hearings so that I can deliberate on them as well. And vote
Mhm.
on that. So
Yep,
if I can't be there,
yeah,
because that's half of them, right? That morning and afternoon is
it's a lot of them, yeah, yep.
of the 38.
And we actually don't have to record those. Kathleen, so hearing them, I'm not sure about. You can look at the information.
Wouldn't you have to record it if you had 3 people? Because
No,
that would
I
constitute a
actually-
Meeting?
Actually, what Jim said, we went through this with Jim, and what he said was, he didn't care if we didn't record them, but the deliberations had to be recorded. He didn't care about the hearings, but he cared about the deliberations, which we would always do anyway. We've always done that.
Hmm.
Even
I
way
just thought
before.
once you had 3 people, that
It's a-
constitutes a meeting.
Well, I think any of them are meetings. We're just allowed to have one person. They're all public meetings.
Yeah, but we don't have to record those public meetings.
But
People,
they're
because
recorded
because
anyhow.
nowadays, now the public can be invited.
I'd back up a little bit. I would like to be able to listen to that because I can't make it to those.
Mhm.
So
I
I
feel
feel
like-
strongly I would like to hear
You
them.
know, I feel the same way.
So if we could record them so that we can hear them, even if you don't post a recording for the public, I'd like to be able to listen to them. I know
Okay.
that there's paperwork, but there's a lot of things that get said one way or the other in the hearings. And I
Okay.
just feel strongly I would like to be able to hear them.
All right, I guess we can do that. Trying to save a step, and
Yeah, well, it's so small this year.
yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
I know you have to broadcast them anyway, right? I mean, they are, you
No.
have to,
We don't have to, we
they
don't
can
have
be
to
totally
broadcast them.
private.
No, they're not private. People are invited to attend.
No, I mean, I thought you had to provide public access to them through a phone.
We don't, I think we had to do that during COVID because nobody could attend. But now, if you invite them to attend, it's up to them. If they want to come, they can come.
They meaning the public or they
Meaning the
meaning
public.
the actual person?
Public,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
The public was always able to come. They just never did. So,
So
Anybody can record a meeting too. There's no, right? The law allows anybody to record a public meeting.
right.
So
the
I have
appellate can
legal
record the
right to
meeting if they want to.
are the hearings going to be broadcast? No?
No, they're not
She's
gonna
saying no, but I thought
So
we-
are you going to allow people to,
walk in, yes.
no, let me finish my question.
Okay.
Are they allowed to not appear? And appear by, can they be heard by phone?
Only one person asked that, and I'm waiting for an answer from Jim Baldwin about that.
Okay, because it would seem to be contradictory
Yeah.
if you.
That's-
Everybody else, last year we did.
we just
I
called
heard
them
a
on the
couple.
phone. We called them on the phone.
Yeah.
But the statute says that they have
They
to.
have to appear.
There was the executive order that
Right.
allowed it to be done.
Yep.
Virtually, let's call it. But it would seem to me that if you're not going to broadcast it somehow, but yet allow somebody to appear virtually, that seems to be a little contradictory.
No, we're not, I don't think we're gonna be able to accommodate that one guy that asked for
I
it.
believe the definition of appear has now been changed to mean virtual appearance or in person. I believe. this
Yeah, there might have been something
definition-
that's,
I have that in an email somewhere.
but it wasn't the BAA statutes, obviously, it was
The
it
FOI
was,
staff.
yeah, somewhere else.
Right. I don't know
That's
if
why I
that-
wasn't sure if that had been changed or.
That's why I asked Jim, because I didn't know exactly what we had to do with that one person that asked for a virtual
It
hearing.
just seems like if the public said, well, I want to attend virtually. And you're not doing it, it's kind of a contradiction in there, but
I'll call
There
him
goes
again
state
and
statutes.
verify it, but we'll do what he wants. Whatever he says he wants to do is what we'll do. But I don't know, I mean, I thought that once people could appear again, there'd be no reason to broadcast.
Yeah.
So that's all, so basically that's it. We don't have that many to do, and we just have to be done by the end of March. if we had a big amount and we wanted to try it this way, Brenda was willing to try to get us an extension. But I don't, man, but that's.
No, we should be able to hear them all.
Yeah, just, oh, yeah, we'll hear, we'll hear them. I mean, she was saying that, because I was like, I don't want to do it this way, not knowing how many we were gonna have at first. I said, I don't really want to do it that way because we have a deadline, and, it's hard enough for us to meet that deadline. And she's like, oh, that's okay, I can get you an extension, but it won't matter this time because we're not gonna be anywhere near a deadline for this. So I guess the next thing would be so everybody's clear on that? We'll be doing doing hearings as a group or as many as can do on a particular day. And then the deliberations will be in the evening after we're done with all the hearings.
Yeah, are we gonna finish up the hearings in like 3 days?
Probably.
That's awesome. I mean, I'm just trying to organize my.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're gonna try. We didn't give you a schedule yet, but
So what are we thinking? Are we gonna start hearings on the first?
well, it depends. Let's see. Yeah, I guess we could. When do you want to go to Florida? As soon as possible. All right, so Kathleen and Peter, what can you do at night? What's your night schedule? If we started on the first. Oh, wait, can we start on the first, Russ? No, I don't think so.
No, I'm not gonna be, that would mean I'd have to have the letters completed by noon.
Tomorrow?
Yeah,
Oh, no, we don't
you
have
have to have 7 days. They all have to be out by March 1st and 7 days notice.
Oh, so we couldn't, even if they were all out by March 1st, we couldn't start until the 8th then.
Right, if you send them on March 1st, then you're looking at the 8th.
But you could send them in 48 hours. You could send them Thursday.
Yeah, so you could
So
you could have some the 6th or 7th, 8th, that first
Oh, that's
full
great.
week.
Yeah.
if we sent them out,
That gives me enough time to produce the letters.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, so I'll just tell you, I'm available, the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th. But not, on the 9th, not till 6 o'clock. So. I don't know, how that works for everybody else. And then what time are we be starting on the 7th, the evenings? Is it 5 to 8:30?
yes.
Also, I'm just throwing it out there, just because they preferred a day or afternoon. If
Well, they didn't pick a
we're
day.
getting all Screwy weekend, just because they asked for it.
Yeah, they didn't pick a day. They just picked the time.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's a preference, but.
All right,
Tight.
Kathleen, what about you?
Yeah, I'm free. I mean, I can't really get here before 5. That's the earliest I can get here. For the evening, we're talking about the
The
evening
evening one, how many hours in the evening? Let's see.
here. But I mean, I'm trying to keep my calendar open as much as I can,
Yeah.
because I know we're going into deliberations after that, right? So this is, I think, our immediate decision right now is to get the hearing scheduled so that Ross can get the letters.
Right, that's what I'm doing, get the
Right.
hearing
If
scheduled.
we
Yeah.
can pick one morning when you're gonna hear them all the morning ones, and you're just gonna.
I don't know if we could, well, we'll see about that. I mean, if we're gonna do all the morning ones, there are what, 12?
9. You said
9.
9,
Nine.
we have 12 slots in the
All right.
morning, so you could potentially do Friday the 3rd and just do all the morning ones right away. If everyone, I don't know what you ladies, I know Thursdays aren't good for you, right?
Carol, what's your days look like?
I've got little bits here and there,
Okay.
small little things. Are we talking about Friday the 3rd doing it, or are we talking,
Let's start with Monday the 6th.
yep,
I only say that because if you guys are gonna be doing all morning, are you really gonna wanna come back the same night and do more at night? That's why if you can do
Too
it,
much.
if you can do it the 3rd and not do any nights on that Friday, then you're saving yourself for the nights next week, if you wanna be at all of the hearings, right? If you guys wanna do both morning and night.
I
Yeah.
think we should take a break personally, if they're not hearing the morning ones, we can alternate.
Mhm.
But I personally wouldn't feel bad if I missed a couple.
Yeah.
You miss the nighttime ones. Okay.
Not all of them.
Yeah.
By any means, I'm just saying I won't feel so bad, not
mean, we should be able-
covering my fair share, because
Well-
we're all accommodating,
Well, don't forget,
schedules, so-
we have the responsibility of the morning and the afternoon.
Right, so I'm just, okay, so back to what we were saying, where are we again? If we start on the 6th
Uh-huh,
day,
yeah.
what about the 8th? That gives time to, you want to hear stuff. I mean, we want to have time. I'm talking about the 8th as a
Actually, there's 9 of them.
deliberation time. Is that what we're saying
Yeah,
here?
no, we're talking about only the
Oh,
hearing.
just the, I'm sorry.
Just the hearing.
Okay, so how about 6 for the day and 8 for the night? How's that work?
6 through the daytime, okay. And actually, there are 9, so if you figured out, if we really kept to the schedule
Yeah,
for the morning, we could be done in one
we're
morning.
just asking questions. It's
They're just gonna present it.
absorbing and with 3 heads, yeah.
I don't know if,
Faster.
we'll have to see when Helene is available, because she didn't feel well, so she left.
Oh, man,
So
her
she,
sibling.
yeah, so, we'll have to see when
She
she
was
can go.
with 6 grandchildren.
That would not make me able to even come to this meeting if I was with 6.
Okay,
Okay, so we'll do the morning on the 6th.
questioning, yeah, okay.
Okay, then we have the afternoons.
Okay, so that would be 9 for the 6th. 9 people. Okay,
It's actually 11.
oh.
11 in the afternoon, 9 in the
Oh,
morning,
right,
11 in the afternoon.
okay. Is that the same time frame? Afternoon starts 11 to.
All afternoon starts from
well,
1
sorry,
to
1 to
1 to 5, 1
5, so
to
that's 4.
5. We could do 1 to 5.
2. Do the math. We can still get that done in,
You can get that done in a
One
day?
yeah,
Okay,
I do my math right, 20 minutes. 2,
3
4,
hours.
6. 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6, that's 9, 10, 11, yeah. We'll be done with 40 minutes to spare.
okay.
So
You
we
wanna
could
do
do
that
that
on-
on this, we could do that on
You
7
want to do it on the 7th?
afternoons.
Okay. All right,
And that's what I'm saying,
okay, and then we have,
breathe that night and then kick in on the 8th.
21 at night if we count. if we
How
count-
many remaining? What's,
21 if we
minus-
count, I forgot to add in the 3 motor vehicles, so.
okay, so 38 minus 3 minus 9 minus
There's
11.
21, there's 21 at
Does
night.
that leave 15? Oh,
Thought there were
21.
38 total, so that's
Yeah.
41.
You said there were 3 motor vehicle or 2? 3. Mhm. I have 40 total,
You have what?
40 total.
I only have 32 personal, 3 motor vehicle, 7 personal property, and then 26.
Real estate.
real estate.
26, 36, 38.
Right, so we're left with,
that was 15 then, no?
18.
Oh, 18.
18 more.
It's 9.
All right, so we have 18 at night.
Eight.
So how many hours is that gonna take us?
What is our night again? 5 to 9 or?
Actually, it could start at, it's supposed to start at 4:30, that's what we've always done in the past, and go until 9:30.
But we can't because when are we stopping?
They can't start
Afternoon?
until. We're starting that, we'll stop in the afternoon
We
at
said
5.
1 to 5.
Yep.
So forget it. We
Can't
can't
start
start.
at 4:30.
No,
If it was not the same day, we could, but not if it is.
Oh.
Okay. We can't, so on the 7th, we couldn't. Now, so we can start at,
is it
Kathleen, what
5?
time can you actually be here? 5?
Yeah, let's get,
I think we know, I mean, we did notice these, right? We noticed them as 5.
I don't remember.
Well, I got the minutes here. Let me see.
Does it matter?
Well, there are meetings that we put on the calendar.
God.
5 to 8 is what we said. Thursdays, but I mean, we said 9 to noon, 1 to 4, and 5 to 8. That's what we said when we approved the minutes.
5 to 8.
We adopted the schedule, I should say.
So that's 3
Doesn't mean you
hours.
can't start later, you just
And 1 to 4.
1 to 4.
Oh, 1 to 4.
That's what we said.
God forbid that we should anger the FOI.
Yeah, I
1
don't
to
think,
4.
I don't know that it's a problem to go later. I think it's a problem to start earlier. So that
Oh, okay, so we
four
can go
thirty
to
might
5.
be an issue. You have to be a special.
So we'll just start the night one
Leave
at
the
5.
afternoon as
So even
is.
the afternoon, it doesn't start the night at 5.
Can you start at 5?
I can be here.
Yeah, the excuse.
I can be here at 5, except for Thursdays, I can't be here at 6.
Oh,
But
Okay.
but Thursday.
well, what day were we just talking about?
So if we're doing, we're gonna start on the 7th.
The night
no,
shift,
8.
no, night's gonna
We're
start.
talking about
I
the
feel like
8th.
we should pull the personal properties out and do them separate. That's what I do. There's 7 of those. Right, that's a very different thing than real estate.
Those were just
I know, that's
So
why I said, they're
easy though.
to get them mixed in with the real estate, things, it might be better to pull them out, and put them on Friday morning or something.
I don't want to hear 6. I can't stand those appeals, excuse me, but I can't.
The personal ones?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So we have to do them, we have to do them. I don't want to do them all in a row. I'll have
Well,
to-
so,
I'll
so
have to-
out of
I'll have to run out into traffic, 'cause I have to do all those at
Don't
once.
take very long.
out of the 20,
Oh,
morning and
that's my
afternoon,
Scissors.
what is that made up of?
I don't know.
Sink.
I didn't write down what they were. I just wrote down
Well, did you keep track of
which ones or when.
asking for? You did not. Okay.
What do you mean, what they're, you mean
Well,
timeline?
like, did you get that off their application?
Yeah, it's on the app.
That's where they're. that's
Well,
their policy,
assuming they
yes,
use the new app, because
The old app
a
doesn't
lot of
have
them
it.
have the old
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, some people have the old one, so they didn't take a time, so I put them on at night.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so I think we're okay so far, right? So we're getting back to it. We're saying 8 o'clock, we start the evening ones.
No, not 8 o'clock.
Okay.
5 o'clock.
8th, on the 8th, which is a Wednesday.
Yeah.
We start the evening ones. We have 5 to 8, that's 3 hours.
That's 9 appeals,
That correct,
if you do it
right,
every 20.
yeah,
Okay,
so that's 9. And then we go to
the 9th.
the 9th. You can come.
I can't be
Yeah.
here till 6.
Can you be
till
there
6.
earlier on Tuesday?
On this, on the 7th, yeah, I mean, the 7th I could be here at 5.
The
7th
8th.
and the 8th I can be here at 5.
So maybe we,
So-
then can you move one of those morning or afternoon ones to Thursday? Afternoon, instead of doing it Tuesday afternoon, we can do it Thursday afternoon. And then Peter will be here for the 2 evenings. We'll do the 2 evenings, 6 and 7.
So-
What for that? Would it matter if it was an hour? Would it
It
matter?
doesn't, other than he's gonna miss 2. It's 3, he'll miss 3 of them.
To you. I thought you,
No, Just close.
Hmm?
No, sorry, talking to myself. My computer is all
Peter,
hung
what
up
do you
here.
feel strongly about? Would you prefer that we switch this all around so you could hear as many as possible? or-
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be best. I mean, so, you know, I mean, if you go with Kathleen's, I mean, I was also, I mean, you were saying that you may not stick around for the evening of the 7th, right? So, I mean,
Yeah.
Kathleen, I would be here and then anyone else who wanted to
Yeah,
stay, but that's, you know, if that's how you want to do it, or, you know, move the afternoon sessions to the Thursday, and then 7th and 8th come available from 5 to 8:30 or later if we need to. Later.
You're gonna get some reschedules too. I mean, there's gonna be people who don't. That's, it always happens.
Peter, can you do the 13th?
I cannot do the 13th.
The
I don't think we
14th?
Want to wait that long for the hearings. I think we just need to get them done.
Uh,
Last year we got
14th
done
I
in
am
4
available.
days.
I'm sorry?
14th I am available from 5 to 8.
I think we should try to get them all done the week of the 6th.
Well,
I don't see there's any reason to, if we're not gonna deliberate.
I
to do
feel
it
that
on the
way
hearing.
too.
Just
I'd like to
get 'em
bang
in,
them
get 'em
out.
out.
So.
Well, that's-
little.
yeah, except that I don't wanna not go to the night ones, but I don't wanna be here from afternoon until 8 o'clock at night either. So,
But you can excuse yourself. Why don't you excuse yourself for the evenings? That one overlap day.
yeah, the one overlap there.
That's fair. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there, or stay for an hour and then head out. Leave at 6. I mean,
All right, so we'll do,
again, this is the first time we're all gonna be together.
Yeah, there's
This
separate
may end up
sessions,
being
too.
exhausting and we're all wanting to just keep it as a quorum.
so 5 to 8 on the 7th. 5 to 8 on the 8th, yes?
7 and 8, that's what I would,
Okay, and it's-
that would allow Peter and me to be here for, all the nighttime ones, since we're missing all the morning ones.
Okay, and then how many more nights do we need?
That's it.
That's it.
2 nights, so we don't need the 9th at all.
Right.
All right, so we have, what's the day ones that we have? What days are we doing?
The 6th, we said we were gonna do 9 in the morning.
Yep. 9 to what, 12:30? Or 1?
There's 9 to 12 on the, what we discussed.
Well, we'll do 12:30.
You can get 9 done in that period of time.
You're at 10.
Right.
Yeah,
3, 6, 9.
3, 6, 9, yeah.
And then on the 7th,
On
we're
the
doing the afternoon ones?
As well as, didn't we just say as well as some evening?
Yeah, well, I'm
ones?
just doing
Well, yeah.
afternoon ones, and that's from
That is from 1
1,
to, we were arguing that it says 4, but we can do.
we can
it
go
to
to 5 if we have to.
Correct.
So we'll say 1 to 5.
1 to 4.
You got that, Kath?
1 to 4:59.
And then the evening ones will be the 7th,
7th,
from
yeah,
5 to 8,
yeah.
and the 8th from 5 to
And
8.
wait, and how many on the 7th? How many did you say? 8? You said 11 for the afternoon.
18, so 9 each night.
She's got too many though. She's got 41 on her list.
No, I don't anymore. I have-
Okay, so then 9, 5 to 8 on the
Yep,
7th.
yep.
And then 9, 5 to 8 on the 8th.
Okay.
We should check and see if this room is being used. I know.
If I can
that
get back into my
Starfish
computer, I think I can look.
Mission is usually Thursdays.
Excuse me, I'm gonna grab
So
some
that
water.
Yep,
Need one?
I'm good now, thanks. I got plenty.
But take it.
All right, so that's it for hearings, and then we have deliberations after that. I guess we'll start those on the 13th. So based on last year's speed, we did about, I'd say, average of 12 a night. So about 3 to 4 nights to do it.
So I'm not available on the 13th, but that next week, but 14th, 15th, 16th, but again, not till 6 o'clock on the 6th.
Fair
Are
enough.
we doing the
All right, hold on.
deliberations? Zoom?
Yeah,
Or
so
first?
the Historic District Commission is in here on Thursdays. They're the ones who can't move. They're Thursday, but we're not doing their, well, what time of day are they on Thursday?
What days are you looking at?
They're 4:15 on Thursdays. You're gonna run into them.
So 7 PM on the 8th is affordable housing.
Can't they go somewhere else?
Well, we can ask, but
Who
usually
has,
Oh, I'm on the wrong
we're
one.
talking
7.
about 1, 2, potentially during the day, 3 of us and 1 of them. We're talking about 4 people.
There's no, what other room can we fit in?
in bed with the
You
building.
said what? With the break room?
You can do the break room here.
Break room.
Too small.
This room right here? Okay, 4 people.
I'm not sitting like a
Look at
sardine
that
with 4
large stuff.
people.
March 8th.
What?
You said
I'm not
March
sitting
8th.
on top of people. Space. There's the other,
What
Well,
days do you
it's
want to know
available.
about? I have the calendar open.
okay, the 6th, the 7th,
Those are open.
okay. The 8th at night,
7 PM is affordable housing.
okay. That has to go somewhere, we have to move. And then the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th.
Wait a minute, are we
No,
doing
that's deliberation.
deliberations?
So
Aren't we
those
doing
are,
Zoom? Didn't we do
No,
Zoom
we're
last
doing-
year?
We did Zoom.
Let's
It's
do
fine
Zoom
to
on.
do Zoom.
Let's do Zoom.
Way easier.
No? You don't want to do Zoom?
Plus, we can have
Um,
our computers open. That's what I like. I like having my 2 screens on.
Why?
well, because
No, really, just be open. What did you dislike about being on Zooms?
because everybody talks at once. It's hard to control the group from Zoom. We had a lot of that last year.
Well, I think if you can see everybody on the Zoom, that might be helpful. I think in the past, maybe you haven't been able to see people's hands raised because you couldn't get them all on your iPad. That's,
There's only gonna be 5 of
there's
you.
only be 5 of us this year, so it's gonna be smaller
That's
number.
true. Yeah,
And
we don't
maybe
have to
that
be
was it.
or
Yeah, and I think you also have to just control, honestly, control the meeting so that you do raise hands and call on people. I don't know. But I prefer it just because I can have my computer, so I don't have to bring a laptop.
just because.
Not have all the
I
paper.
thought pretty well last year. I liked being able to be home.
You want to do them Zoom?
I mean, speaking of, I personally liked it. I didn't have an issue with communicating with anyone. I felt that we heard you people talking because I felt like we
All right, we'll do them by Zoom.
figured it out.
We'll do them by Zoom.
Yeah, the room was booked the 13th, the 16th, and the
Okay.
22nd.
Can we move the affordable housing on the 7th? Can we get them someplace else?
No, affordable housing is the 8th.
Tuesday, whatever the Tuesday is.
Well,
That's a
we're okay.
Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday.
I'm sorry, Tuesday and Wednesday, weren't those the 2 nights we said? next
Yeah,
week?
but Tuesday's okay, right, Rose?
Tuesday's okay.
But Wednesday is not,
Wednesday's not.
right? And we said Wednesday for the nighttime hearings, didn't we?
Right, we did.
Right, so that's the conflict.
What time is the meeting? They're affordable housing.
There is
meeting?
7.
But
The other people, the police commission meets at the police department.
Well, I have the calendar for this room, so.
Yeah, but often in the past, they've just bumped them and asked them to go someplace else. So Board of Finance Public Budget meeting, Shellfish
Right.
Commission that night, and Shellfish is, I don't know where they meet.
let's
Who
make
cares
a lobby.
affordable housing?
I was just gonna ask you that.
I can, Pauline is on it.
I have a
First
stupid
on it.
question. Why can't we use the lobby? It's dead quiet in the lobby.
Technology.
For the hearings?
Just for that one.
Just
Just
for
for
that
2
one,
hours.
just
I
for
was
that
saying when they come in at 7, we just move to the lobby and
Yeah,
have
fire
4
for sure.
chairs. But. Yeah.
I mean, we only need a telephone for ours, we don't need, right? We just need to be able to
Yeah, we're not.
do
we're
what we
not-
did last year
Why
with
don't you-
2 phones.
See if you can book the conference room and,
That's taken by the Shellfish Commission on Wednesday.
well, there's 2 rooms over there. Upstairs and downstairs.
And then maybe affordable housing can move over there.
Yeah, can't we take precedent just because
Usually we-
we only meet one time?
I know,
a
really.
year.
this is-
They meet what, every,
In
every,
this room,
month?
just, if we didn't ask for it
It's on
earlier, but
affordable
usually we
housing.
get it in March or December, you just say, look, we need this room for, the whole week. And Jen Carpenter moves everybody. The only one she hasn't been able to move is the Historic District Commission on Thursday, so we've
Well, I can
usually avoided
I can
that.
ask Jen to just see if she can move the
yeah.
affordable housing people.
Yeah,
How
but
often
your
do they meet?
Thursday one, you're gonna run, oh no, is it HCC?
They
Thursday?
probably meet
Once a
once a month.
Yeah,
They do. They could move to another room, but the Historic District Commission meets here Thursday at 4.
that's
And
good.
they
We're
have
not,
all
I
their
don't see
stuff
them
in
on
the-
the schedule.
we're not doing Thursday, except
No,
maybe
you're doing
6.
Thursday afternoon and they're at 4:15.
No, we're
No, we're not.
No, you're not. I thought you were doing Thursday. I thought you moved your daytime hearings to Thursday.
Nope, we left them.
Fine. Okay.
Yeah, I'll call Jen and Jen rather and ask her.
Do you want to go over this one more time, just for kicks and giggles?
Okay, Kathy, why don't you tell us what you have?
Yeah,
That might
good
make it
idea.
So I have that you are going to meet starting March 6th in the morning. And then on March 7th,
Can you, please, express the time frames? For morning, 9 to 12, is that what you?
I wasn't gonna put these
Oh.
details in the minutes, frankly,
Okay.
Okay.
9 to 12. We just
but you
finished
want 9 to
12.
12?
Okay, go ahead. The 7th?
The 7th, I have you're going to meet from 1 to 5, and then from 5 to 8. And then on the 9th, you're gonna meet from 5 to 8.
No, that
No.
was the night, on the
7th and 8th.
On the 8th.
Same.
Oh, yeah, 7th and 8th. You're gonna hear
There's
9,
nine.
you're gonna hear 9
Nine.
on
Same
the
thing.
7th and the 8th.
Yeah, Now, we don't really have to be out of the building until what, 9, Ross?
I'm always confused by that whenever I've asked.
Because I mean, we're figuring 8, but if something went longer, somebody was late, then we'd have it until really till 9 to really be here, but we'll say till 8. If we go longer, we go longer.
I'll ask Jim.
Or like if we give them Tuesday and they say, I can't make Tuesday, can I come Wednesday instead? Then you just stick them at 8 o'clock.
Stick 'em at 8
Wednesday
o'clock,
night,
yeah.
right?
Yep.
Throw 'em in at the end,
Yep.
or they get a morning one and they can't. We typically stay till 9 anyway. Rita's usually here.
I'm sorry, because we interrupted. Go ahead.
No, I pretty
Okay,
much
so that's for
finished.
hearings.
Yeah, and then deliberations, I have you gonna start on March 13th, and it's gonna be done by Zoom. And that you're going to ask Jen Carpenter if she can get you this room on March 8th at 7 o'clock when the Affordable Housing Board
Yeah.
is here.
Okay. And then we will start the deliberation will start at 5,
Okay, 5 on which day did you say?
starting on the 13th.
Okay, 5 was 13, but then I thought she said a different date.
Okay, I guess we'll have to see how it works.
So does that matter that I'm not gonna be able to be available on the 13th? I don't, obviously I don't want to hold everyone up.
Are you unavailable the whole day?
Yeah, I mean, I might have a window of time.
Yeah, I have another board meeting too, actually.
On that day?
13, I did,
All right, so we skip the 13th.
I mean, it's at 7:30, but
Yeah, that's.
I can't dare ask Elaine to work on the 17th because she'll have a stroke. It's St. Patrick's Day. Doesn't do anything on St. Patrick's, won't work at St. Patrick's. All right, well, you know what, we're finishing on the 8th. What about the, you don't do Friday, so, but. Could,
I mean, I'll just say for the 13th, I probably could do between 5 and 7, but I do have to get somewhere. I'd have to be hard to cut off at 7.
Why can't you do the 14th instead of the 13th?
we're doing the 14th. We're starting on the
Oh, you're
13th,
starting on the
13th, 14th, 15th, possibly the 16th. It all depends on how long it
Okay.
takes us to go through them.
okay, we're back to 38. So 38 divided by 4 is
3,
like. Wait, 38, oh my
Doing
God,
20 minutes, right?
that's like 10, well, 10 times 4 is 40, so it's 9-ish. If I'm splitting it up evenly, so we can do like 9, 10, 10, 9, something like that.
Oh, you mean for the deliberations?
Yeah. I'm just saying, if we technically spread it over 4 days.
Well, if we stopped at 7 on Monday, if you said we'll just do 5 to 7 on Monday. Because Peter's not gonna be here after that. The problem with having only 4 people for
Yeah.
deliberations is that we could run into that tie situation.
Yeah,
And then
why don't we
that
stop at
creates a problem,
7? So that way we're not losing a whole day.
right? And we still have the odd number of people.
Yeah,
Well, maybe, I mean, is Paula who usually does our personal properties? Is it Paula? Is she available on Monday nights? I'm just thinking, could we knock off the 9 personal properties in that 5 to 7 window? If Paula's available
for deliberation.
for deliberation. Mm-hmm.
I can ask her.
What,
Who's Paul?
Paula works in his office. She's the one who does often
She's
she'll
the lead
answers
person.
as to why, what happened with it, or what.
Oh, they get corrected.
She
you
gives
mean.
us the numbers, right, when to correct it,
we didn't do that last year, did we?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, she did help. Yeah, actually, we didn't really deliberate the personal ones. We just sort of said, blip, it's been fixed, here we go.
Yeah,
Most of
free,
them,
or-
most of them want that penalty removed anyway, which we can't do, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Right,
So there
But
isn't
there
gonna
may
be
be
much to do. It's like, no, we can't
We
take the
don't want
penalty
to
away.
postpone them and then have to do them a week later, so that's why it's like, if she's available in that window, if we have a question, then, we can ask.
Yeah, so if she's
and
available, I guess
get
we
it
can do
done.
that.
Yeah, I'm just looking at,
You don't know. Okay.
I'm sure some of them are appeals or
I feel like
penalty
it's
issues.
to her
A lot of them,
before
I read them
we
last night.
There's one
We
that
might
said,
have to search
I
it.
know there's one they said that went up too much, but we
Yeah.
their
Say we don't have that
declaration.
much time between.
start.
It's a dentist's office. They didn't declare any computers, and we left their computers on that they had declared the year prior. So it's a small difference.
All right, well, if she can do Monday, then we'll do those on Monday.
That's a good idea. How many of those?
It's an
Seven.
identical, it's not, I think there's 9 of them.
Oh. That would be easy.
7, I'm taking back 7.
Easy
personal
2
property.
hours.
7
Yeah.
personal property,
Yeah.
and we got 3 motor vehicles done too. Then.
And while you're talking about personal property, they should bring you in a declaration if they're asking for something different than, especially if they never file. So if they didn't file a declaration, they need to file a declaration.
If they didn't file a declaration,
But we
they
figured
still
out-
get don't they get the penalty? Because they didn't.
They
do what
always
they're
get the
supposed to
penalty
do.
if they were late or didn't file.
Correct.
But if we estimated 15,000,
Yeah, yeah,
they're saying no,
yeah,
it shouldn't file.
Yeah.
Well, they need to provide the declaration.
so
A
we can
lot of
see it.
this that I remember, because this was my first year, the whole thing was confusing to me. I realized that they were just arguing because the penalty, they thought the penalty was the.
Yeah.
Dollar.
I thought it was a lot, yeah,
Because the
Thought
way
it
it
was
was
what it was.
presented, it was
Yep.
confusing.
yeah.
And just the other thing on personal property is we talk assessment on
Okay.
personal property, whereas cars and motor vehicle, we talk value.
Okay.
Because everybody thinks in value on those items.
Mhm.
But personal property, we switch it to assessment because there is no value number. You start with what you purchased to that, you depreciate it, then you take 70% of that to come up with their assessment. So you can't, it's not a single item.
You
it's
know what you're
multiple
saying,
items.
for
Yeah.
semantics, yeah.
Yeah,
Now-
so it's much easier to talk assessment on personal
Mhm.
property.
Can't we make the motor vehicle ones wait until September?
I don't think you can deny somebody, no, you can't.
Because
You can't deny
the statute says we meet in September for the motor vehicle.
Statute says you meet in September exclusively for motor vehicles.
Right,
It doesn't preclude them from coming in March.
push them off.
It's only 3.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
we'll get those 3 done along with the 7. That'd be nice.
Did you look at them?
Yeah.
Were they, anyone new?
No.
They're
No,
the same
nothing.
people?
Oh, no, they're new
Oh.
people, but.
Oh, they're new people.
Yeah.
I thought maybe they were the same ones.
Hopefully nobody's coming to look for their $5 off. So, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so back to what we're saying. So the short day that we're
It's Monday.
ending at 7.
Yep, and that's gonna be personal property.
Personal
Paul
property.
Can meet with us. Or be available. We won't be here, but be available.
And then potentially
Potentially the car.
the cars. I mean, that will be conceptually what we do. Okay,
That's
So that's
conceptually what we
10.
will do.
so
Yep.
that's 10.
Well, 2 hours, I don't know, we'll see. Well, those should go fast though. Those will go fast. It's not like regular ones.
14th.
14th is a regular,
Yeah. on the
Real
20th,
estate.
Tech class. Regular,
residential.
yeah, and we can do, let's just say it's 10 again, so that's 20.
We should be able to get more than 10 done.
Tap
I
it.
know, I was saying, I can have my tab. I don't think you want to see me tap.
Actually, if we're gonna do Zoom, which we are, we could go back to like 5 to 9 rather than 5 to 8, because I was just trying to get out of here earlier and get people home early, but if we're not gonna be here and you're home, what does it matter? They were 5 to 9 last year.
Well,
If
the
we
only
get done
reason to
sooner.
me is to do 5, 9 would be that we miss a whole day completely. That to me would be the only benefit.
So you guys are out of luck now. You wanted to do Zoom. Brenda was gonna buy us dinner every night. Lucky you, Russ. Now you don't have to pay the bill.
If I can, you know.
I mean,
All
why don't we just do 5 to 9 all 4 nights that week and see if we can pound.
Except for Monday. We can't do Monday 5 to 9.
No, 2 hours on Monday and then see if we can get the other.
Right.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, if
Sure,
everybody's
okay,
okay with that, let's just,
So,
yeah,
yeah,
just
we
get
have
it
an
done.
extra hour, that makes an extra 3.
Yeah, so we could, we may
Right?
not even
Three,
need that
three,
fourth day.
that's- I mean, technically.
We've got 28.
Oh, I'm doing 20 minutes and it's still
Yeah, no,
deliberation.
Can't tell, you can't do
Never
that
mind.
way. No,
Never mind.
So we have 28, I'd say we can get the first 10 done on Monday
Okay.
night. We have 28 divided on
Yeah.
3 nights.
We can do
We
it.
should be able to do.
We will push
two
30.
nights. We should be able to get 28 done in 2 nights, but we definitely should get them done in 3 nights.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
definitely.
then should we, from a agenda standpoint, still keep the 16th as spillover, just so?
yeah, just in case.
There?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, Okay, and definitely not the 17th. It's a Friday and it's.
Yeah, we
Yeah, we
don't
don't do. Friday.
we don't want to have Blaine in an uproar.
And then we'll
And
know,
me.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
we'll know
Yeah.
by the 16th whether, whether we're gonna be done or we have to go to the 20th.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, we'll know by then. To me, it's just a day.
No, I think.
Okay.
What was I gonna say? Oh,
Kathleen,
Did you
I mean,
happen to-
Kathy, good?
I'll be interested to see what people show up with for hearings, because when you look at the appeals that are filed, no one, except for maybe one or two people, filed any documents besides their appeal form and their field form.
And how many use the new form?
Quite a few, because most of these
Okay.
were, yeah. Most of these had the times on. Some people
Okay.
just circled
Did they si-
everything. 'cause they
Did they
didn't care.
sign that they had to read the helpful?
Yes, they signed, yeah,
helpful
they
hints?
signed, but then they
Did
didn't.
you see that,
provide
Ross? I
documents.
made them sign that. I have read the helpful hint.
Yeah, but they didn't provide the document. Only one, they'll probably come with a couple people are, I guess, there's a couple of attorneys. There's 3 appeals with attorneys, so they'll probably come with an appraisal. They usually do. They don't come with that one.
You gotta get those.
And
scanned in.
what
And
about
the appraiser, let's see, Greg Lane is doing 2, and I think Jeff Smith is doing 1.
Yeah, I spoke to Greg. Okay.
He's got 2. That
Yeah,
are on here.
okay. Yeah, he's-
and then
he's doing a
there's
couple, but not
Jeff Smith
much.
was hired to do an appraisal for a woman, but she's not sure if she's gonna present it or if he's going to present. She hasn't decided yet.
All right.
That's the lady who we can't find her appraisal. She was gonna get another one from Jeff and submit it.
And we're confirmed that none of these people have appealed before, right? Have never been granted anything. in the
I
past.
didn't check.
I looked at a lot of the field cards and I don't remember any of these names.
It would be.
One guy I do remember, but he was denied.
Are the PDFs 2023 or
Yeah,
2022?
they've been updated.
They have been,
Yeah,
great.
They just went up
Very
in the
helpful.
last week finally.
I was annoyed they were. Okay.
And then next year, it's still not a reval.
Correct.
So it's going to be similar probably, right? And then the following year is the reval.
You'll be gone by then. We'll all be gone. Both of us will be gone, but no. Yeah,
No, you won't be gone.
we won't be gone, but we'll be here for the reason.
Because this year is my 2nd year, next year will be my 3rd year, and then the 4th
Oh,
year
yeah.
is the reval year. Yeah.
That will be it. The end.
Yeah, on the form, you need to add city state zip to the mailing address, because a lot of people didn't put city state zip in.
Oh,
And then the breakouts for land and building was just cumbersome.
I liked it.
oh,
But they're not appealing. They're appealing the value.
But they're appealing the whole value, but some people are complaining that their land is too expensive. Which they have
But
the
then
right
they
to say.
should, then they should say, here's what my assessment should be.
I mean, the idea behind it was not to be cumbersome. It was so that they could look at their field card and educate themselves on how you came up with, how the town came up with the total value, because it is based on a building and a lot
The other, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
breakout.
interrupt.
So I don't know, that's what I thought.
The other reason why
value.
I thought it was important to put in, it was your idea.
I'm disappointed if it was cumbersome. I feel.
I didn't want to make it cumbersome, but I was listening to, I tried to listen to all the presentations that you guys did, just to refresh myself when they did the reval. You did a presentation for a selectman, board of finance. So I listened to those and I heard Mike Fazio say in the board of finance one that you first get the land value. And so I thought, well, if they're getting the land value first, and then you work in the building value or whatever, and get your whole value, then why shouldn't the appellate have the right to say, well, I'm gonna look at my land value, and I'll look at my house value, and I'll look at the whole value. We just did it the same way. That's why I thought of doing it. It was because he
So
specifically
when you
said-
have that broken out, that
Yes.
means that every single person has to come up with their opinion of value for both pieces.
Right, and they did.
Not all.
Not all of them, you're right. Some of them didn't even put the town's value in. They put nothing.
Yet again,
So we'll see what happens when they show
Technically,
up.
those probably shouldn't be hurt.
I was gonna say that. If you didn't conform to filling the freaking form
They
out
have to
without
tell
even.
you what they
They'll
want.
have to tell us.
12/111. Name where you want it mailed. Why they're appealing, their value. And who they are, owner, representative, whatever.
Yeah, the
If
statute
they
requires
can't
five
tell you,
years.
if they're just appealing and haven't taken the time to tell us what value they think it should be, Why is that on us?
It's not.
And we
because they're gonna come to a
followed up
hearing.
with people too. We tried to follow up with them.
And that was nice.
And that's why we have, their opinion on just about all of them.
Okay, so the only thing is when we do the hearings that first time, somebody needs to turn on the recording. Right? Someone's gotta come up and make sure that the recording is working. And if there's anybody remote, we have a second phone in here so we can call them.
So yeah, it's kind of like the last time, the last round.
Right.
Right, where we.
Start the recording, you say today is March, 6th, whatever, this is
Yeah.
the February 2nd hearing of the Board of Assessment Appeals.
Yeah, we'll get this,
Okay,
once
let's
we
just,
get
I just wanna make sure.
we get the
is-
number assigned.
Is this always here? This,
This
'cause I
equipment's
really
always-
do want, I mean, I want to listen to them afterwards, when you're really upset if they don't get recorded.
yeah, this equipment's always here.
Okay, so someone just says, so can your office help get it going so we know that it's on? Okay.
Somebody better, because
Not that we know much
I have,
more than you.
I have no intention of turning that on.
In the past, there's always a sheet that comes in when you come in. This is what, these are the 5 things
Yeah.
you do to get your recording started, and the music plays, and then
Oh,
you start
God.
recording.
Are we gonna still have that person, a person checking in the people and all that too?
They have to check in your office.
No, there was someone who was sitting outside. on the
Oh, I don't-
table.
Okay, I don't
Yeah,
remember that. I wasn't here, that's why. I don't remember that. I didn't do them.
I don't know.
Curious. Okay.
I mean, there's not that many this year, so.
Yeah, but then we should have like a notice or, will we have a notice outside the door or something just to corral the people? You know?
Let's see how that.
Doors shut.
You know what? So how do they know where to go? If there's nobody checking them in, like if they would
The
check
letter
in,
tells them, right?
Hmm?
Does
The
it
letter,
hold your
yeah.
letter tells?
maybe the letter should tell them to come upstairs and wait in the hallway, because I'm not going up and down those stairs to get people.
What time you can do here? It's just,
3 of us.
what are the nighttime ones going till?
Well, 5 to 8 unless we have a reschedule, it'll be till.
And how many nights? Two?
2.
I can ask him.
Tuesday. and
I gotta see if somebody's willing to stay.
Okay.
That's what they did when I went to in Milford. That's what they had. They had somebody from the assessor's office. They had everybody out in the hallway, right outside the room. And then they just had somebody out there checking everybody in and just making sure they had whatever they were supposed to bring with them, so.
And I just think when we do the minutes at the hearings, it's important to, often they change their ask amount at the hearing, which we've allowed them to do. But it's been really difficult to go back and figure that out when they do change it, right? We find in deliberations or whatever, it's not maybe it's not getting recorded on the minute sheet that we keep for each person who comes in. Just need
I'm
to
not
make
taking-
sure
what
that we
minutes?
get the ask amount because
We had a sheet
Yeah,
that was given to us, sorry, when, because you weren't here, when we were meeting with each person. And we basically filled out, well, they had to sign their,
well, they have to get sworn in.
Sworn
they
in.
were sworn in and they signed, and then we basically, it was a summary page that was basically given to Ross.
Yeah, Ross creates the summary sheet, and then at the beginning of the hearing, we read it back to them. We said, can you please confirm that your appeal number is 62? And that the property address is this, and that you're the owner, and then, or the appellant, and then we say, and that your requested value is X. And they will often say, oh, I sent that, but I really meant to ask for this, or can I change that today?
Why can't we just, why can't we
Often
just say
let
that?
them Do that.
Why can't we just say,
Because too many people didn't remember to do it.
We
That's
didn't
why
write
we-
it down and it didn't make it back, and then all of a sudden we go to deliberate
And
and.
that way, if they change their value, there's a way to feed it back to me so I can update the information.
Right.
So that when we send out decision letters,
Well, the other part is we're making a decision based on what they asked for, because otherwise we could deny them and they may have come up and then it's a number that we agree with and we deny them and, in other words, or if the hearing officer isn't there, it just, that amount didn't always make it to our deliberations
Do you have any?
or in writing.
Do you have, I don't have it. Do you have an example of what did you call that sheet?
we had
The
a
board-
hearing minutes.
The
Yeah,
hearing?
document, which summarized, what the person was, what the town value was, what the ask amount was. Hearing date, time, room number, and he
Yeah,
was hearing it. Now, of course, that's a little different.
I mean, it
So
was
that-
like, it
that was-
basically was a cover sheet.
that was all on there, you just had to recite it back?
We did, but then on top of that, if they provided documents,
And
we
you-
then had to have it all copied.
And this would indicate who was attending on their side.
Right.
So you'd know who was actually at the
something.
hearing on the
Yeah.
appellant side.
Three people would come and, but we wouldn't, the sheet would only say there's one person. Oh, I brought my
The owner,
husband. So
right.
the owner, or no, my neighbor appealed on my behalf. So, and minutes are supposed to show who's there, right?
We never even took minutes before. Did this for how many years? We never took minutes. You
Well,
scribbled on
it's
pieces
not
of
Been
paper.
doing them for last
Is it-
year.
I don't know if it's called minutes.
You had a hearing log.
It's a log.
But they are technically the minutes. And that's so that we can keep our notes with us.
Sure.
We don't have to turn our notes in.
I lost it.
Otherwise, our notes have to stay on file in the office and we can't take them home.
Yeah, I mean, this
The
was all,
notes I never
this-
took? Oh,
this
those
was-
notes, okay.
it was printed out. It was
Uh-huh.
like, it was just, it was
Oh.
actually like it. 'cause
Oh,
it was
okay. I thought
A
you were
summary
expecting it-
sheet,
Oh,
yeah, and then we just
Yeah.
added, if there's more attendees, I
Okay.
added. It's, okay.
I thought you expected me to fill that out. I said, that's not happening.
No,
it's
Al marked
printed.
it. We correct it. If
Very
anything's wrong.
Neatly ordered, I mean,
Yeah.
probably takes a while to those things.
No, it's mail merge.
Merges it.
Oh, it's mail merge.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's why if there's mistakes, we get, plus that you can read it into the record, because then you can hear it on the tape, you know who's there. Right? They say their name and, you swear them in and they say the amount on the record. Otherwise, if you just start the hearing, if you're listening afterwards, you don't even know who's there, right?
It's
I
you.
mean,
No one else but you, but
But
that's
who
okay.
cares who's there? I mean,
It's like
I
there's
could
three
care less
voices
who's
on
there.
the tape and there's one name in the minutes, like who the heck else was in the room giving, and it's testimony, right? So if they're testifying,
Well, it's good to know if they have an appraiser and who that was, or if they had their attorney, or they had their neighbor. It's good to know who's
who's
speaking
there.
if you can't see them.
All good.
okay, so we've got the schedule done.
Yeah.
Well, I have to check on that one thing. So that's, is there
Yeah.
any other new business anybody wants to go over? Anything else to bring up? No? Okay. I make a motion that we adjourn. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, Kathy.
6:38.
Mhm.